Good evening, welcome to Rivalz Race Chat. Clinton and Adam here as we are weekly throughout the race season, and we try to be weekly throughout the year. How you doing today, Adam?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. Now, I've got to ask because we didn't get to it until the very end last time. Do I have anything in my teeth this week?
No, you don't. No, you don't.
We got to the very end. Like, okay, mics are off. Adam, you have something in your teeth? Like, you guys are a bunch of jerks.
No, I thought you were chewing on like a straw or something. I don't know what the hell was going on. You know what I mean? Like, it just. I guess we should have spoke up. If it was green, I would have known it was lettuce. But it looked like
It
you were
was
jawing on a piece of plastic. So
it was like a piece of
no big
tobacco
deal.
or something.
Now, today we got all-star lineup of Canadian asphalt talent. What can you say about when you look down the list? Treyten Lapcevich, Geoffrey, Fitzpatrick, and Steckly. We don't need any more introductions for those guys. All are on coming on for different reasons. Treyten Lapcevich coming on to talk about his recent success with the Cars Tour and the recent ruling that came out on this while we were live last week. Treyten said he wasn't ready to make a statement, but now he's had a week to think about where they're going to go with that. We'll talk to Geoffrey Fitzpatrick about his long haul up to Sault Ste. Marie area to race at Laird and picking up the win there on the weekend, and how that came to be and what it was like in a place we've never seen. It's a long-ass haul up there. I actually Googled it. It's probably well over 8 hours to tow a race car up there to the deal, so we'll talk to him about that. Steckly, always in the news, winner at the beach, Sable last weekend live on Racing America with our crew covering it. Then off to the ASA race in Michigan. And then the big story is joining Daniel Bois Motorsports this weekend for a shot at CTMP with the NASCAR Canada Series, which you and I will both be there. You'll be handling the stream and the TV coverage. I'll also be on pit road this weekend. So excited about that. We'll have Burger Run this week. We'll wrap up NASCAR and ICAR. I also asked Dylan Westbrook to come on, but I know it's a busy time of year for him, to come on and talk about his milestone win on Friday. 40 wins in the 360s out of weekend, which is crazy in 10 years. A lot of guys race their career to get those kind of numbers, and Dylan Westbrook's putting them up already. So for the dirt fans, we haven't forgot about you. We are still going to talk some dirt stuff. We'll talk some weekend hijinks and everything else that goes on in our crazy world of racing. Anything you want to start with, that? Because I got a few places I want to go.
Yeah, before we go much farther, let's talk about the guest that got away tonight. Junior Farley was going to join us to talk about attempting to qualify for the International Classic this weekend at Oswego Speedway. He's got to run to pick up some parts in London. He is leaving tomorrow morning to go down, get a setup put in the car. And Clint, I had the chance at Sable to talk to Junior for probably 15 minutes or so. It was eye-opening to hear him talk about how challenging it is to drive a super modified. And, you get to the end of a night and you think, okay, I've figured this out. I know what I need to do. But by the time you go back the next week, I don't want to say he's lost his nerve because those weren't the words he uses. But that was the gist that I picked up, is it takes a while to get the rhythm of how to race a super modified. So he's so excited for the opportunity to go down and qualify for a classic. I think it's a huge deal for him, and it's cool because we've kind of grown up with Junior. Well, I literally grew up with Junior, but we've grown up watching him race and watching him achieve things. And now he gets to go and try to achieve what once was one of the greatest accolades in short track racing, was making it into the class.
Yeah, good field of cars expected. Dan Kapazinski, if you have him on social, he's a big Oswego homer, if you will, and he's talked about possibly up 40 cars trying to qualify for the Budweiser Classic this weekend. So it's a pretty good deal. Wild show. It's still one of the wildest forms of racing. If you've never seen it, check it out. I believe they're on Flow Weekly, aren't they, Adam? You can catch that out.
Yeah, they are.
So a good deal. That's a good thing about where we are in the world now. You get all the streaming going on. Speaking of streaming, we want to talk some weekend hijinks. I don't know. Did you get Spencer to pull any clips? Or did you not get to that this weekend?
No, that's a bit of a down the road project that I was talking to Greg about a little bit. And
people think you and I have it so glorious, right? So we're doing double duty at a lot of places. Yeah. So Saturday is a good example. Spencer caught some pictures of us. So and Spencer and our crew did a great job setting up for us to do work for another crew. So thank you, Spencer and Dan and Trent and the guys that got all that together. They built us 2 booths at Sable, one for our APC Racing America broadcast, but one that we can get the video from TV to go streamed into us at Sable Beach. We are then adding our audio and sending it back out to Flow and TSN Plus through our system. I don't know how they do it. It's that's why we call it the Wizard Wagon, our trailer, because I don't know what the heck they do. But you think it's glamorous. So there's Adam and I sitting on 2 basically resin
Plastic
style chairs. Yeah. With our screen on a tub in a back closet of the tower. And it seems like iCar is the place where we find ourselves doing this. A few years ago, we found ourselves sitting on a coffee table with lawn chairs trying to fall off the back at iCar in the construction zone. Yeah, so this is if you think Adam and I are sitting in the big tower with the golden headsets on, it's not that luxurious. Last year made me laugh because we did this event, and then Frank Wall from Quick was watching, and he's like, "Oh, too bad I'm at APC. I'm going to miss you guys tonight. I'm watching the NASCAR race in my trailer." And then 10 minutes later, we're in front of him at APC. He thought it was magic.
Yeah, I got a few comments, but if you throw that picture back up, Spencer, the wood paneling in that room, the whole ambiance makes it look like we're about to play Frogger on Atari 2600.
And Uncle Jim Irvine, the other announcer from Sable, just took his dog's crate out of that room so we could call the race. Like, it's bare bones sometimes, but we do our best to get the show on. It's always fun. APC at Sable is always a good time. They always welcome us in. Great place for us to catch the racing. Some good action. Kyle Steckly won that one again, but man, what do you want to wrap up from Sable from the weekend, Adam?
Sable was the first time all year that I noticed drivers started to show their real displeasure with each other on the track. We've had people in interviews talk about not being impressed, but they really dropped the gloves and were going at it. But I thought it was a good race. I mean, Kyle Steckly, man, the kid's just so good.
Yeah, he does have that setup locked down, these APC cars right now. He's going to be tough to beat going home at Delaware with one race to go. Just more reps, more laps, more everything going on certainly helps work things out. And, we'll talk to Kyle a little bit more about that coming on down the line. When we look at, Fran, you came over. Thank you for coming over. Yeah, Glenn made a bunch of improvements to Watch Weekend again. Put in a bunch of gravel where we had some flooding in the grass this summer and took the grass out and graveled it over. So just making it better all around. I think you're going to see those things continue to go on. A lot of things went down this week, Adam, while we wait for Treyten to join us, unless we got him here, Spencer, and I'm blocking him. But I don't think so tonight. Oh, there he is. How about the payouts for Northern Sprint Car Nationals, Adam? I know we've talked about the Thunderstock Nationals on the Thursday on Sportsman. That was announced this week officially. So Race Champion Sportsman will kick off Nationals weekend at Arch Weekend. But $5,000 to win for the Thunderstocks is awesome. $200 to start, and then you're looking at the crates the next night. $5,000 to win, $250 to start, and then the big one, the Northern Sprint Car National for the 360s, $2,000 to start, but 20,000 Canadian to win that race. Over 100 and goes in on about $150,000 weekend in payouts. Over 110 for 360s alone. Super excited about that. So for all our dirt fans, Nationals weekend, the 20th edition is going to be amazing this year. Make sure you come out and join us. One guy who's been dabbling in sprint cars, but that's not why he's here to talk to us, is Treyten Lapcevich. Treyten back on the show once again. And Treyten, we appreciate your time. We've kind of adopted you. You got to talk to us, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, and we appreciate it. I'll throw it over to Adam quickly. Give us the quick Coles notes of what's going on in Treyten's world, Adam, for anybody who isn't watching us.
So to catch people up, Treyten scored his first victory in the Cars Tour. I guess we're going back 3 weeks ago now. Celebrated the win, got through tech, headed for home. Learned that they had stripped him of the win, disqualified him. So through an appeals process, Treyten appealed that decision. And last Tuesday, Treyten, when we spoke to you, you were just getting the news of the result of your appeal. So did I miss any important steps there?
No, no, that's pretty much it. Yeah. Long story
Just so
short.
you know, Adam, what was the result of the appeal? That's what people want to know.
Well, we're going to get to that. That's where we're at right now. Treyten, tell us what the results were of the appeal, and tell us if it satisfied you and your team.
Yeah, so we ended up getting the win reinstated. So the win being stripped was overturned. Unfortunately, we didn't get the championship points and we didn't get the money to go along with it. Which it's obviously disappointing a little bit. You kind of, I'm really grateful that we got that opportunity to put our side of the story out there and present the facts, and like really thankful for the car store being cooperative and doing that for us. They had never had an appeal before, so something new to them, and they implemented that infrastructure so that our side could be heard and we could get a fair shot at it. So that being said, we got the win back. Obviously happy about that. Points is disappointing for sure. Kind of wipes us right out of it. We were right there. Had we had those points, I think we'd be in second right now, only a handful of points back. Obviously kind of puts me out of the rookie of the year chase as well. But that being said, I think just moving forward, the goal kind of stays the same, and just go to the racetrack and try and go after more of these wins.
Great, so no points, no money. It's got to seem a bit hollow. What type of, what's the reasoning why? Like, as a promoter, okay, I've been in these situations on the Ash Weekend side through multiple classes. Obviously, not at the level that you guys are at, but still on our level, the principles are still the same across the board in racing. I could not see me telling a racer, okay, you get the win. I guess it gets an asphalt NASCAR type thing, but you don't get the points or the money. That's what it's all about for you guys. So, what what I'm trying to say is I couldn't think of a good reason why I would be looking a racer in the face and telling them why you can't have your points or your money. What did they give you in that regard?
Yeah, truthfully, I don't have a whole lot of justification for it. Not a whole lot was said. It was a 3-person appeal board. They did a great job. It was a long process. I'm gonna say that too. We got there at 1:30. I thought it was kind of gonna be like something that we're gonna go and present our case. It's gonna take under an hour. The other side's gonna present their case. It's gonna take a couple minutes too, and be out of there in a couple hours. But it was a 6 to 7 hour process. The whole deal was. So this wasn't something that was taken lightly on either side. There's a lot of going back and forth, a lot of deliberations. So yeah, I don't really have a good justification on why the points and the money didn't get returned. I feel like it was because they kind of wanted it to be representative of there being mistakes on both sides per se, maybe. Don't know that for sure 100%. But yeah, it's kind of just how it turned out.
So Treyten, the issue was, correct me if I'm wrong, you were running a Ford 9-inch rear end instead of a quick change rear end, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Can you explain to us, now that it's all over, what it was in the rules that your team thought you were right and the series thought you were wrong?
Yeah, so how the rule reads, so the rule reads, and this is our interpretation of it. Obviously, our interpretations didn't coincide, but we read the rule as it kind of it lays out the framework for if you're going to run a quick change, this is how it has to be. Because if you read the rule, it says only quick changes with such and such and such and such will be permitted. So it's like if you're going to run a quick change, it's got to fit these specifications. It doesn't say that a quick change is required. It doesn't say that you can't run a Ford 9-inch. It doesn't say anything in there that really prohibits what we did. And that's kind of where it went back and forth. But obviously the strength in our case was the fact that we made it through pre-practice tech, we made it through pre-qualifying tech, made it through post-race tech, and we'd had a conversation with the officials with it as well, right in pre-practice tech. So it was from the start of the day. Everyone knew it was there. It wasn't something we were trying to hide, and not something that you can hide really. If you're kind of just looking through the wheel well and you know what you know what a quick change looks like. It's such an easy thing to see the difference in.
Well, I mean, the silhouette that they cut are way different. Like even a dumb announcer like me can tell that from a mile away. What quick change from a Ford 9-inch, you're gonna tell her way up. But I guess I can understand the missing comma or the interpretation. Like it didn't say only quick changes are allowed. It said if you're going to run the quick change or whatever the perception was. I get that. That shit happens all the time. I mean, even in our rule book, every year someone will exploit a sliver of something that we have to close up, and we've been using these rules for 20 years in some cases, right? So I get that, but what I want to know, Treyten, and I guess the disturbing part, again, for me as a management guy, is when is an erase official? We kind of touched on this before. So they talk about it. Like, is this, I don't know, I want to cause so much shit here, but I don't want to put you in a bad spot. I guess what I want to know is this a case of somebody crying foul after the case, them trying to save face? It just looks like the whole thing was a mess from the start. At some point, they need to eat shit and say, look it. We let this go. We messed it up and close up that rule book on Monday going forward. I don't know how they can go back and claw it back, because what's to say we're looking at pictures from something from 3 months ago at the start of the season. We see shit on someone's car that's not supposed to be there. Are they going to go back and take that back now? It just, I don't know. At what point do we close it out?
Well, and I think that's kind of what the issue was, is there's so many issues with communication with everyone. No one knew the full story. There was issues with communication between us and the tour internally. It just kind of it bubbled up quicker than I think they could really control it. And then it kind of just put us all in a bad situation when the full story comes out and all the facts come out. It put us all in a bad situation. And I think that's kind of where the ultimate appeal result kind of came into. I mean, it was a compromise, I guess, per se, just to, we get the win back. You just kind of don't get the benefits with it.
So let's move beyond that, Treyten, because you went back and scored a second place finish. After all this is said and done, how easy was it, or how hard was it to get in and focus on the job at hand?
Yeah, no, it felt good, honestly. Was really just looking forward to kind of putting the whole North Wilkesboro thing behind us, especially after the appeal happened. Is kind of after the appeal was done with, that's it. That's kind of closing the page on the book. But yeah, it felt really good to get back to the track and not have the appeal weighing over me. Like I said, getting the win back felt good, so kind of had that off my shoulders. But yeah, going back to Wake County on Saturday, we had a really good car, was able to run up front. It was a fun little quarter mile, kind of reminded me of a lot of our tracks that we have back home. So it kind of felt like home again. So nice little bull ring. We had a flat tire earlier in the race, rubbed off the sway bar arm, ran the rest of the race without a sway bar. It kind of made for an ill-handling car, but at the same time, it was a lot of fun. We were able to drive back through the field and end up second.
Treyten, so you mentioned earlier it just takes you to the points, takes you to the rookie of the year, but you did say focus on the goal. So obviously win races is the goal, but is this whole mission to get more eyes on you for future opportunities, or what's the thought process by going to the Cars Tour to start with?
Yeah, I think the Cars Tour was definitely a good option for us to kind of get down south full time. And it's a start. So I think it's kind of with this whole ownership group in the Cars Tour. You got Dale, Jeff Burton, Kevin, Justin Marks, all these guys that are really putting the Cars Tour on the map and creating opportunities for us. So hope this year is just the start of a lot of racing to come in the States in the future. Kind of we're starting to work on some stuff for next year, and it's nothing in place yet, but it's definitely getting exciting. And I think we'll probably be doing a little bit more Cars Tour to come, and maybe some other stuff along the way as well.
So this is one of the places where you want to unveil some of these details, right, Treyten? No pressure. But Tuesday night is a really good night.
Yeah, at some point,
Yeah.
at some point. Maybe not this Tuesday night, but one Tuesday night.
No, exactly. You get the idea. Well, listen, we will let you get back to your life, Treyten. Again, thank you for always taking the time for us. We've seen a lot of you recently, but for good reason. When you're the story, and we appreciate you being here to tell your own side.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Right on, Treyten. So, obviously not the result they wanted, but they'll bounce back, and as they did, still on the move.
I was looking forward to seeing how they read that rule because I read it a couple of times and I thought there must be something I'm missing. But I like how they interpreted it. That's one of the things about racing that makes racing so much fun.
Yeah, I think I go back to being the promoter and think at the end of the day, the promoter's got to look at the other teams and say, look how this is written. They got me. I mean, I was in that situation last year with an air breather. The rules were written that way, and I didn't like it, but it was weird, and I had to stand up and eat shit to everybody else and be like, look it, the rules clearly say that he can do what he's doing. And we will fix that next week, but right now it is what it is.
And I thought you and the track handled that very well last year. I think in this case with the Cars Tour, it was handled fairly poorly. But thank goodness for Chad Brandt Racing and Treyten Lapcevich complimenting the process. There really didn't completely smooth things over for them. But that's almost what you need is to sit behind closed doors and say, look, guys, you may not like this, but when we leave this room, it would be better for all of us if we say positive things and we embrace the process and we go racing again, even though I know it sucks for you.
Yeah, it does suck. That's bullshit. So I get it. I get Treyten's got to keep the corporate world. You know what? Get them by the fireplace. I bet you're going to get a whole different story on what they think about that deal, but it is what it is outwardly. But I still think, and the fact of them having, like Treyten said, got to be a little bit us carrying the penalty. It's bullshit. It's either you carry the penalty or you don't carry the penalty. The rules are there.
Ultimately,
and ultimately, let's put it this way. I was going to say, let's take the written rules right out of it. Let's say the rules clearly say you can't run a Ford 9-inch. And they run it all weekend. And they go through tech and go through all the bullshit. And they win the race and they get tore down. And they load that car up and they go away. And someone's got photos or whatever and says, hey, he ran a 9-inch. TFB. Too effing bad. To all you guys, tech got a black mark on their face for that. They dropped the ball. They've screwed that one up. They let that one by. It's a strike on tech. It's not. Let's get Geoffrey Fitzpatrick on, see what his take is on this, because I could not see me looking JR in the face and having to give him this story about, yeah, you have to win, but we're not going to give your money or your points. What's your response to that, JR?
I've been listening along and following along. I mean, I think it sucks. I agree with what you said, Clint. I think they just handled that very poorly. If he passed tech at the end of the night, give him his money, give him his trophy, and fix your flaws later down the road.
And I'm not in the business of making excuses for them, but look at the ownership group of this series. They don't necessarily know how this shit works. They've worked with NASCAR for 20 years. They've lived in the NASCAR world. So they're kind of, they don't go to these Saturday night tracks every week and see this stuff. So either way, let's talk about Sault Ste. Marie.
Hold on. You're going to give some of the best people in racing a pass because they don't know about their own business? That's bullshit.
Okay. You want to bring it up, then bring it up. Who cares? They could have said, go F yourself. You're disqualified. We did it on Monday. We could have done it on Saturday. We could have done it on Monday. We could have done it on Wednesday. F you. Go home. You don't like it? Go home. You get no money. You get no trophy. You get no win. You get none of it. Go home. F yourself. Nobody is going to care that Treyten Lapcevich doesn't come back to our series. Go and cry about it. You go see Clinton. Clinton will give you a microphone and a camera, and you can cry on it all night long. They could have said that because it's their freaking sandbox. But they didn't.
Let me reply, JR, and then I'm going to jump in. I just want to say one thing about that. I would have been able to stomach them better if they said on Monday, hey, we missed this rule. It was wrong, which is still a shitty-ass call. But that'd be way more easy to take to say you're fully DQ'd, you were outside the box, you get nothing. But to give them the win, that's saying we fucked up. I'm sorry. JR,
I want to hear what JR had to say.
I was just laughing at Adam. He was really, really going for it there. Good for you, bud. But honestly, all I can say about that is, let's be honest. You guys honestly think from day-to-day operations, Dale Jr., Justin Marks, Kevin Harvick, Jeff Burton, they are not involved in that. I don't care what anybody says. They're not involved in that. They are just there to hopefully make the whole brand bigger and better. It's just my opinion. You really think they sat down with those guys and brought that to their attention? I highly doubt it.
No,
that's a good point. It's a good point. All right, man. Let's talk about your event.
Adam, do you feel better? Adam, do you feel better after your rant? Because man, you were.
Yeah, when I unleash on Clinton, see, it's funny. Clinton's always had this thing over the years. He tries to get the last word and then move on, but he knows it's not going to happen. Like, it just doesn't work that way. I don't work that way. So it all works out in the end. But sometimes, JR, you've been there. I mean, well, listen, while we're talking, never mind. I'm not going to bring up Kawartha Turn 4. Like, the odds were so stacked against you, but sometimes we do things because it feels like the thing to do.
Jared, let's talk about
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know.
I'm sure you do.
Oh, Laird was awesome, guys. I mean, so yeah, I guess just a short story. I mean, I was wanting to go. My in-laws, the Paso Racing bunch, have been going there for the last couple of years, and they kept talking about like how big it was, how many people were there, and obviously knowing George Wilson and his son and a few others that race up there, and Mike Hardy said like, you got to come up and try it. So I was kind of like burnt out a little bit just because I needed a new rear end for my race car or for the Super. My late model needed a lot of work. It was getting a rear clip. So I got a lot of money going out right now. And then Mike Hardy, who don't know, he used to race the number 20 Oscar Modified. He reached out and said like, hey, like if my business can help you with tires, would you come? And I'm like, really generous and blah, blah. And I thought about it. Talked to my wife about it, talked to the in-laws about it, see if they're all going still, and I made my decision on Wednesday night. Let's go. I'm super glad we did. Not just because we won, but because the environment was so different. I mean, it's literally an old fairgrounds with a racetrack in the middle. It was like stepping back in time, but man, the people were awesome. I had a great time.
Now, on the night before, you finished 4th, did you not?
I finished 3rd. So I went up just to practice on the Friday. I wasn't originally planning on racing, but they don't get a whole lot of practice, and I felt I needed more because I was struggling a lot. So I just decided I might as well just race. So yeah, we finished 3rd, struggled a lot. The track's really tricky. It's like a mix between a Sable and Peterborough with no grip. So yeah, we came out of there 3rd and just made a bunch of changes there on Saturday morning, and yeah, we definitely got it better.
And that's why I brought it up. I wanted to know what you did between the Friday and the Saturday to turn the thing into a winning race car.
Well, I did, honestly, just a bunch of stuff with the shocks in the back because I'm on 4-corner bump springs. So it's basically just like a big rigid go-kart, right? And I was going through 3 and 4. Like, I was going right to the bottom, and as soon as I get down there, the whole back of the car is going, rah, 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 and then you got 670 horse trying to get it to the ground. It would spin all the way down the back chute because George told me, yeah, you can come up here with no restrictor. So I believed him for Friday night only. And it was insane, man. It was knocking my teeth out, spinning the wheels all the way down the straightaway. And I hope George had a good laugh over that because I knew the next day I had to take about 150 horsepower out of it with the restrictor plates and then calm the back down. And yeah, just also I had to learn more on the track, right? I watched Chase Friday night because I was probably half straight away behind him and just seeing what I had to do there. But yeah, just racers being racers, misleading information.
How long of a drive, JR? Like, let's talk about the trek to get there and what kind of prep you did to make sure, that's a long ass tow.
Yeah, honestly, from my house from Cambridge, it was only 7.5 hours. By the time we stopped for fuel and stuff, I picked up Roy in Innisfil, and And from Minnesville, I think it was like 5 hours, 20 minutes. So honestly, the drive was great. We didn't hit any traffic. It was beautiful, beautiful scenery. Yeah, I didn't mind the drive at all. Only went through 2 tanks of fuel. So, hey, it was, like I said, it was a beautiful drive. And as of right now, we want to go back next year because the people were just incredible.
JR, talk about that a little bit. You've had the chance to run different races. You've been down to run IWK. You've run super late models. You've run pro late models. You've run NASCAR Canada. What does the future look like for you? Like, what do you find yourself daydreaming about wanting to do?
I'm still stuck in my 20s, Alan. I still daydream about racing NASCAR one day. But no, being real, I don't know, man. I'd like to venture out and do more racing. I still have this long fetish of wanting to do a dirt deal because even down there, I had a bunch of people ask if I was going to go try dirt again. Like, I don't know. That's always in the back of my mind, but I don't know. I'm just going to keep trying to race something. I mean, it gets harder every year, of course. But you know, it's just so much fun. Like the super late deal was kind of like a refresh for me. It's just a little less stress, just go have some fun, and the cars are incredible, and you can venture quite a bit in Michigan and all that. So just another area that I never been able to go race to in Sault Ste. Marie was awesome. So yeah, I'd like to maybe one day be able to have all these cars together at once and just go pick and choose. Obviously with the pro late stuff, it's tough to go across the border because you're talking massive dollar difference in trying to race down there with those guys, but hey, I just want to keep racing stuff. I don't care what it is anymore. I'm just having so much fun racing in circles, and maybe one day road course again too. Who knows? I just want to be able to keep racing.
I got 2 for you before we let you go, JR. First off, you mentioned dirt. You know, what do you see yourself doing? You're driven a 360. Do you see yourself, you know, maybe in a crate, or would you be banging fenders in a Thunderstock and having fun on Fridays?
Honestly, like I had a really good meeting with a great team there in the fall with a crate sprint, and we tried to put it all together, and it was going to happen. It was just on my end, I couldn't make it work, but I don't know, right? I don't know. I don't think I could feel the car myself because I don't know enough about the dirt. I would love to just go with somebody and learn. You know, so I don't really know. I'm not going 360. You know, you guys know what that was all about. That was basically thrown to the wolves and don't lift, and holy shit, it was the best night of my life, but I looked really bad out there. In terms of the crate stuff, when I got the test there last year, I had a great time, man, and I got to thank Terry Baker for letting me drive his car, because if I want to do it, I would probably want to do the crate sprint because it's just so many cars and it's so much fun. But yeah, for me to do it on my own, I don't think that's really the smart thing. I'd have to probably team up with someone for sure.
Right on. Last one I got for you before I turn you over to Adam and turn you loose. What's the plan for the pro late? Are we going to see you at Delaware for the finale? What's happening there?
Yeah, I'll be there. I don't know if I have service if I can turn my phone, but you see it's right there. I got it back yesterday from putting a rear clip and stuff on it after lap 1 when I drove it there a while ago. So going to start putting it together here. And yeah, we'll be there for 300. Not going to have any practice time or whatever, but we'll have some fun, and hopefully some of my experience from longer races will help. But yeah, we just got to get a car dialed in. It's definitely different going back into it after a super, but that car is a great car. We won that race last year, so we're probably just going to put it all back and see if we can give young Kyle a little run for his money.
Somebody has to. Now, JR, you've been around pro late model racing long enough to know there's always somebody. It seems like there's always somebody at the top of their game, and they're just that much ahead of everybody else. You know, it was you for a time. It was Brandon Watson for a time. It was Andrew Gressel for a time. You know, what is it that Kyle Steckly has right now that no one else is able to reach?
I don't know, man. I don't think people give Kyle enough credit. I mean, he's a great driver. Even when he was in mini stocks, we all knew he was just a great driver. And I feel like Kyle and his father, what they have over some people right now is just knowledge and experience. I mean, they work at it so hard, and they're always making their cars better. And Kyle's just like his dad. He's never happy with second, and that's tough to beat, right? Like, you get a guy that's motivated and that's smart and that talented. it's tough to beat. So, that's primarily the reason why I didn't want to go back full time this year. It's just I couldn't be 110% in it. And if you're not 110% in it, you're not going to be able to beat someone like Kyle and Scott and their team. So I'm super proud of Kyle. I mean, I've watched him since he started mini stocks, and he definitely deserves to be in the 2-time club. So I can't see, as long as nothing happens to him at Delaware, he's got this locked in the bag for sure.
Yeah, he's looking pretty good.
I'll throw a Steckly question back at you then. I know you got a lot of passion for the road courses, CTMP, and the NASCAR Canada Series. He's got the calls to run Daniel Bois. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. Daniel Bois' car. Any advice to Steckly going back to CTMP?
I've already talked to Kyle a little bit. He was testing, and by the sound of how fast he is, I think he's going to be just fine. I love that scheme he's in, because that's the scheme that me and Scott ran when I moved them with 2 laps to go, and I don't think Scott would talk to me for 2 years after that. So it was pretty cool seeing that. But Kyle's great, man. He's already been testing there. He's up to speed. He's, like I said, he's a great racer. I mean, I haven't been there in 10 years. I'm sure if I went back, I'd have to be asking him questions. So I'm excited for him. I can't wait to see how well he does.
Right on, man. JR, thanks for taking the time to sit with us. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks, guys. Talk soon.
See JR in 2 weeks for the Great Canadian 300 weekend at Delaware, live on Racing America with our crew, bringing you all the coverage as usual that weekend. And we'll be there, and then you and I will be sticking around Sunday for the NASCAR race at Delaware as well. So it's going to be a fun weekend for us at Delaware the whole weekend as we set it up. Great Canadian weekend at Delaware. Not this weekend, next weekend. Let's talk about this weekend. Brighton's coming up. We will not be broadcasting, but Brighton will be having the races going on this weekend. It's a big sprint weekend. Crates, 2 nights, 360s, 2 nights for the Labor Day Classic. Going to be a good show. Always is at Brighton. I'm excited to see what the mix East and West crates are going to bring this weekend and see how that all plays out. So it's always a good time to get to Brighton.
They're paying big money.
For sure. So if you're around the eastern part, make sure you're down to see Brighton Saturday or Sunday. Got 2 nights of sprint cars going on, and one of the best little dirt tracks around. Make sure you check it out. Kyle Steckly should be joining us soon. Let's talk about NASCAR iCar before we talk about CTMP coming up. Pretty wild race, Adam. That series and the tour points are tightening up. Cameron finished, not in the lead spot on the weekend. Andrew Ranger finished in the winning position, which was big for him in the points. This series is really starting to tighten up here coming in the final couple of races.
Yeah, it really has the potential to do that. The fact that there's 2 ovals to end the year is a bit of a wild card, because you might think there's going to be fewer cars at the ovals than there are at the road courses, so there's less opportunity to lose points. But for Cameron, it just seems like he's always at the front of the road races, so an oval track might be the opportunity that Ranger needs to be able to capitalize. So I think it'll be fun.
See, we can say that too, but we also see it the other way. You'd think Ranger would be the oval track guy, but he won the road course on the weekend, and Cameron was third, so it could go either way. We've all seen Cameron just flat out dominate like Newfoundland the past couple of years in some of these other spots. So it is still a crapshoot. Great to watch. We talked about it. GP3R, how the cars were coming back in a basket. They looked a lot better after iCar, but I think iCar is such a great little racy track, Adam, for a road course. I think it'd be a fun place to be out on.
I think it would be fun to be out on. I don't love it, Clint, compared to some of the other places that we go, but that's the fun thing about racing. You really like it. It's not at the top of my list of road courses. So, hey, everyone's a little bit different.
Let's talk go ahead.
I'm hoping, Spencer, were you able to take the picture that I put into the chat? Because that doesn't happen very often. Oh, okay. Someone posted a picture of Bill Burr from, I want to say it was 1964, where he had just won the last race of the year at the CNE. But in the background, my dad's on the other side of the car. And how often, Clinton, do you get to see a picture of your dad that you'd never seen before? And this is one I had never seen. That's Dad looking into the passenger side over there. Also looking like he probably has a pack of cigarettes rolled up in the sleeve of his shirt. He's just got that kind of look.
Was
And of
Bob
course,
a
I made
notepad guy? 'Cause I kind of see him like, I feel like he's got a notepad in his hand. He's looking down at it that we're not seeing right now. Was your dad a notepad guy?
I don't know if he was or not, to tell you the truth. And of course, I make a smart ass comment saying, yeah, my dad's on the other side of the car. Not Popeye, but the other one. Well, sure enough, Popeye's grandson commented, hey, that's my grandfather, such and such. Oh,
Oh boy,
your grandfather looks like Popeye.
never shortage of fun. That was the other thing. Right around the same time, we got SRX is suing Skip Barber Racing. Man, did we ever dodge a bullet there, eh? With Dutch Weekend talking free and SRX. Jeez, what a disaster! Like, I can't believe it. We talk about the Outlaws at all? Everybody asks us about the Outlaws. I don't know if we really got into it, but I don't think they want to come and hang out with us. You get that feeling?
No, I don't think. I get that feeling. You know,
Like,
and you know what?
Go ahead. You say something before I say something stupid.
Do people want the World of Outlaws at the track? Or do they want the World of Outlaws from 2005 at the track? With Steve Kinser and Sammy Swindell and Tony Stewart. And Stuart Friesen will come up and mix it up with them. The World of Outlaws are not what they were. They're still great. They're still at the top of the heap. But the farther removed, it's the Cayuga Speedway syndrome. The farther removed we get from it, the greater it was, the greater everything was.
Yeah, I don't disagree a little bit. I mean, that was my thing all along. Like the Outlaws we get now are not the Outlaws we got when they first started coming. Quickly, the economics of it. Everybody asks. Adam, we talk every day about the business. You're my kind of advisor, counsel that I bounce shit off of, and So Outlaws said it's just not in their future for next year, maybe 26. So not in the next couple of years, anyways. They're not willing to cross the border. They're just not prepared to do it. Then from the other side, Brad Sweet basically told me that it was going to be $300,000 a night, and they need to line up 2 to 3 nights in a row. You're talking $1 million over 3 nights. You know what we could do with $300,000? That's more than SRX wanted. And I'm not saying that high limit with Kyle Larson wouldn't be worth more than SRX. I absolutely feel it would. But man, you're never going to make that money back. You're just and then even if he was talking Canadian 200, you're not making that back on a Thursday night or a Friday night here in Canada. It's just not going to happen. We don't have alcohol sales at Dutch Weekend. It's just so. What does that mean for our fans? Do we give up? Hell no. We're just going to have to build our own events with major star power like we've always done in the past. We'll continue to do that. But
so here's a question.
I don't see them in the near future anywhere up here.
Here's my question then. What would it cost to charter a jet and put the ownership group of the Cars Racing Tour on it, fly them to Brantford Airport, and come out and race something at Dutch Weekend?
Yeah. About 10 times cheaper than it would be to get those guys.
So
5 times
from
cheaper.
a business standpoint,
no business point.
Kevin Harvick, Jeff Burton, Dale Jr., like you could bring them to the track and have an event that's going to appeal to far more people, be far more profitable for much less money.
I get it. It's still not catering to the sprint car hard course, but we have plans for that, so I don't dig too deep into that.
Right.
Let's talk about something else that irked me. And
let me finish off with something that's irksome, and then the high limit sprint car series. So what we're seeing, they are not going to only premier venues. We're not seeing them as, oh, this is the elite of the elite, and it's only going to be at the grade A racetracks. I'm not knocking any racetrack, but what I'm saying is when you have that sort of competition, you can't just go to Knoxville and Williams Grove and Eldora. You have to open up the possibilities to a Fonda Speedway, which is really struggling this year too. you open it up to a lot of places that just aren't conducive to being that uber elite, aren't conducive to charging $200,000 to $300,000 a night to be at.
Yeah, it just, I mean, for long term, it's not going to work. And, you know, I have my thoughts on it. You know, I think it's overpriced because it's to cover all bases. You know, we've all done that in business at one point or another, given a price that's high because, you know, so if we whittled it down and got down to brass tacks, would it really be that? But that's the approximate number I've quoted. So it was basically no thank you, not interested kind of number. Back to something that I caught on the weekend, Adam. The junior late models are great here in Ontario, and I'm probably going to eat a lot of shit for this one because I already know I've got a lot of haters out on the racing world on weekends. But we have radios in junior late models. That's what I've come to learn. What are we doing?
Two-way radios?
Yes, like spotters.
Oh.
And I see all the dads on the fence at Sable, and I'm like, there's no way. And then I think it was Albers who was messaging me from the grandstand saying, you can tell the ones that got radios. And I was like, oh, I said, this is ridiculous. Now, we don't allow them on bone stocks. We don't allow them on mini stocks. We don't allow them on go-karts, which the junior late models I get are not go-karts. We don't allow them in Legends cars, but we're allowing them in junior late models. Now, if I'm mistaken, somebody fill me in on that. But to me, Adam, back me up. It's so fundamentally wrong, isn't it? To have Dad. Why don't we just give Dad a remote control to steer the car from the outside?
So let's look at it a different way. How does it make the racing better? And how does it make your driver a better driver? By giving them a radio. The answer is it doesn't, and you don't. And those are the reasons why I think you shouldn't do it.
Well, I'll give it to you this. I'll play the other side. Why do we need them? Well, it's a safety thing. You know, these kids are young. They're growing up. You know what I mean? But that's what a good race director on a 454.0001 one-way can do for you, too. So I don't know. It was disturbing to me. It was. And that's one thing that pissed me off. And I'm like, really? That's what we got going on around here?
Because I'll tell you, it was a really fun race. The junior late model feature was a ton of fun to watch.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. These cars are awesome. And the fact that these kids get to race quarter size late models painted up. Man, you get 12 plus cars in a race, and they are badass at any track here in Ontario. Good group of kids. It's wicked, but come on. Get real. Let's bring on Kyle Steckly right now, who's ready to join us. And, you know, we try to put everybody on the spot, so maybe we'll do that with Kyle, too. Kyle, junior late models and radios, two-way radios, really? Do we need it?
I never had it, so I ran junior late models for a couple of years and never had a spotter then, and I think that was a good way to learn. And yeah, I seen that too on Saturday. Tom Gibbons just got the pole, and I went over to congratulate him, and he already had the radio on for his son. So that was interesting, but they're good cars and always put on a show.
Kyle, how are you so good? Like, every car at Sable was damaged. Like, every car showed signs of being through a war. Your car, like, someone could have argued that you just drove your car from the pits and parked it in Victory Lane because there wasn't a scratch on it. There wasn't a mark on it. How do you do that? How are you able to do that?
I think it's just the car, really. I mean, when you have a good car, you don't need to use it up. You don't have to race guys like that or get raced like that because you're ahead of all that. So I've been lucky with two good cars at Sable this year, and to pick up both wins was cool. But yeah, just a really good car, and smaller inverts this year, which is nice. Only 6-car inverts, and you know, just good car, and be patient. And I think Ray was really fast, but he kind of held everyone off for me, so that was nice. And he kind of kept all the craziness back there with him, and he put up with it, and I was able to kind of run away.
Yeah, Because a 6-car invert's the reason you're winning, Kyle. You could start at the tail and still get these things done in the distance we've seen. Let's looking forward. Point leader going into the final race at Delaware, 300 laps. Kind of your home track. How does that change your mindset at all? Does 300 laps change the outlook, or is it business as usual?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. I mean, I think we're going to do a bit more maintenance, change some parts out, and put some heavier ones on. But we got a good points lead, so that means we can go out there and make sure we win it. Not have to worry about anything else, and just go there and race as hard as we can, and hopefully end up in victory lane at the end.
Let's talk about this weekend, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. How did this deal come together, and is it a sign of things to come?
Yeah, I don't know. It's cool to be working with MBS Motorsports. We've helped them out the past couple of years, and I've been going to the track with them this year and helping out Dominic Mimo's Scrivo. He's been racing the 69 car for the road courses this year along with Daniel Bois. So just working closely with them, and then CTMP is their home track, so they wanted to have 3 cars out there. So we worked together and have Sierra Excavating on the car for a special throwback paint scheme to my dad's car in 2015, which was really cool to kind of show our appreciation for everything he's done for me and what he's done for MBS Motorsports. So looking forward to it. CTMP is a blast. Ready to be back road racing, and hopefully we can keep up with those 3 Frenchmen. Ranger, Lacroix, and Cameron have been wicked fast this year, so we're going to try and crash their party this weekend.
We just had Geoffrey Fitzpatrick on, tells us your testing's been going well. How do you feel about CTMP, and is there any part of the track that you're concerned with, or a part of the race that you got to be careful?
Just the other drivers, just got to be careful around them and, and stay out of trouble and be there on hopefully be in second place going through 9 and 10 coming to the checkered flag, because you don't want to be leading, that's for sure. And just see how it goes. Play it smart, and there's going to be some pit strategy. That's always cool, and live pit stops. So a lot of fun, different things that I'm used to, and see what we can do.
Who's going to be your crew chief on the weekend? Who's going to be your spotter on the weekend, Kyle?
I've got my dad on the box, so that's same as always. Dad's going to be crew chief, and then Ken Coutu spotted for Dad, and then he spotted for Treyten Lapcevich the last couple of years. He's going to be spotting for me along with Kyle Edgar. So 2 good spotters and a good crew. We've got a lot of the old 22 Racing boys from back in 2015 coming out this weekend, and it should be fun.
I got to ask the question, Kyle, because you just said you don't want to be leading going into 9 and 10 because you're going to get used up. Does that mean you plan on being in second and using somebody up to win this? And I guess the
100%.
question is...
100%. Have you ever watched a race there, Clinton? That happens every single race.
Yeah, I've called them, but I guess the question is, okay, I'm going to call bullshit because you're a gentleman racer. These guys are going for a points championship. Are you just going to come in there like a wrecking ball and take one away if you gotta?
Yeah, 100%. I'm there to win, and they'll understand. I mean, they do the same thing for sure. They've all done it, and I may not have raced in the series full time, but I've been watching it since I was just a little kid. So I know what they all do and how they race. So I'm just going to race them how they race.
Adam, I think we just peeled another layer of the Kyle Steckly onion there, because I've never seen that side of it. But go ahead, buddy.
I think you definitely did. I don't even know where to go from there, Kyle. Talk about Owasso. You went down there Sunday after having a great night at Sable. 6th place, lead lap finish. What sort of – I know you want to win every time you're on the racetrack, Kyle. It's not really feasible. It doesn't very often happen. But what do you take away from a 6th place finish? Yeah,
I think you got to look at the whole race. I mean, we led laps early. We won the first stage. We qualified second. We were second in practice. So a really strong day, and just didn't end up with the same result as the speed we kind of showed early on. But that happens, and that's part of racing. So I think we learned a lot. I think we're getting our car better and better. I mean, it takes time being the only Port City chassis out there. So I think we're learning every week and, showing that we belong up at the top. We led laps again and, continue to run good. So I'm looking forward to the next one and the last 3, really, to keep showing that speed and just working on the car, getting it better. And it was really hot on Sunday. So that was different. I mean, I'm not used to Sunday races. I've been kind of spoiled with Saturday night racing. So it was really hot on Sunday, and I had to worry about the temperature. Same with the handling of the car, kind of got away on us. So just learning every week, and hopefully we can be in victory lane next time, because finishing sixth isn't as fun as winning.
I got one last question for you, and it's from a fellow crew chief, Gary Calling. He says, hey, ask Kyle what parts he's changing out. We're taking notes over here. Help me out, brother.
Everything. Tell him everything. He needs to change the whole car.
Did you see Cole Quinton's car after Saturday? They do need to change everything on that car. Adam, take us home.
Since Clinton asked one more, I've got one more from Gary as well. He wants to know when you're coming to sit on his deck.
Yeah, I needed an invite. He's never invited me.
You've just been invited. It's been done through us. We're going to enjoy some Gary deck time. But Kyle, thanks for hanging out with us. Looking forward to watching your race this weekend. And you said it. You better make some miracles happen in turns 9 and 10.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right. I'm pumped because I'm going to be on pit road, and I think Kyle's going to be at my end of pit road. So that's going to be my story. Milverton,
the kids doing so
everybody
good.
Up in turn 10.
I'm excited. The kids doing so good with the interviews. It's just so solid.
Exciting. Lots of great stories there. 3 series coming on, man. And they say seat time's the way to get it done.
I hope this will work. I've got to show you something.
Oh, no.
Oh, he was giving me a death stare. Listen, buddy. You just settle down over there. 8 o'clock till 9 o'clock is my time on a Tuesday. You know that.
He's wanting to know why you couldn't put your shoes on when you go to work. On Weekend Hijinks, we're going to post some clips of you and Greg having fun on the weekend. I know we take some shit for that, but I love you guys. And the fun we have on Friday nights, it's always good humor, and we'll post some fun for that maybe next week. We do got Burger Bar videos of the week to get through to take us home tonight. And it's always a good laugh. Thanks, everybody, for hanging around. We're not going to run away just yet. We'll talk over them. Let's see what we got, Spencer. Give me those 2 videos last, the fueling last. What do we got in the meantime? This is... Oh, okay, so look at... Do we have audio to this, or is it a strike? Just a good old boy. It was on Insta or something, anyways. So this is the good old boys, but it's remote control, Adam. If you had this,
that's awesome.
Duke Boys team and everything going on, somebody's got... I want to be rich enough and bored enough that we have this much time on our hands to recreate the Dukes of Hazzard. We really can't have the music, Spencer? Okay. It's awesome. Watch. They said they got the Duke Boys jump at the end. Here we go.
Wow, you just shamed Spencer. Oh, yes. Right down to the camera switches and everything.
It's amazing. Watch the car even gets crunched a little bit too, just like it would on the TV show. It was awesome. Whoever's got
Love
that.
it.
All right, let's go. What else we got, Spencer?
So let's take a little spin around the Daytona International Speedway.
This is back from like 80s or early 90s. Side by side. Turn up the volume if we can have on this.
Come by at over 200 miles an hour.
Ned Jarrett and Terry Labonte. Old Ned out there driving in a convertible at 55 so Labonte can buzzle the tower. But you see how fast they are going. And he looks like he's putting along, but 55 is 110 here in Canada on the highway. So, they're cooking along pretty good, and they're going 4 times that amount. What else we got, Spencer? Oh, this is Adam's first race he ever called. This is, who would this be? Jim Cochran versus Gary Elliott back in CNE. You're cooking on those penny farthings.
Man, oh man.
I love it.
I like
the
sound.
He is not happy. He is not happy at all. And they are wrecking on the football field at Bowman Gray Stadium. After the race, they're not happy. Here comes Kid Brother. Big Brother is coming. The winner, Gracie Kid. Grayson Keaton says, don't mess with my little brother. I may have the checkered flag, but I don't like this. And now there will be a fight. Billy Andrews has left his car. He's on the side of Grayson Keaton's car. Emotions exploding here at Bowman Gray. A kick to the side of the car. The police have entered the football field trying to restrain him. They are not happy. As the smoke billows, we have a brawl.
We had a good piece this year, just about a lot of bad luck. Billy Andrews is
To me, Adam, I don't get Bowman Gray. I still got to wonder if half of it is staged. But then he's hanging on the side of the car, and if it's staged, nobody would be allowing that safetyness to go. And then the cop just shit mixes the guy from the back. It was awesome. So I don't know what to make. I don't know what to think about Bowman Gray. Is it staged? Do they encourage it? Are they paying fight bonuses? I just don't see guys using their cars and driving into the infield to purposely wreck other cars as much as we see it there. I don't get it. But hey,
I don't get it, and I have to go.
Spectacle.
I'm not gonna. Yeah. Now, Spencer, were you able to process the video that I put in?
You're pushing the envelope here, getting them at the last second when we're going on the air.
I know
if we have the capability to do that. Was that for the video? Was that for the videos of the week?
Yeah.
I'm afraid whatever you're brewing up here. I see that grin on your face. What else we got in the meantime, Spencer? Unless you got Adams running. Okay, so this is a fireman's competition. You ever seen these things? First off, what kind of vehicle is that?
Wow.
So this is like an international fireman's competition that they have. So this one, it's like a ladder car, and I've seen it before. I don't know what it is, but that looks like something Larry Jackson's going to do in retirement. You know, him and Howie Scannell, the pro ladder team. What else we got, Spencer? Okay, look at this. So this is like integrated virtual racing, but you got camera on your car, and you're sitting on the screen, but your car is actually driving.
That's Sable Speedway's 2025 Junior Late Model Division.
Oh, we're going to get slaughtered for that. Again, not throwing shade at Junior Late Models. Don't need radios. Okay, what else we got, Spencer? Oh, this is Wheelchair Rick again. Turn up the volume. Oh, maybe not. I won't get in trouble. This is Wheelchair Rick going down Clifton Hill, Niagara Falls. It's a straight drop. I mean, if we ever wanted to do a Red Bull Soap Derby, this is it. Clifton Hill, Niagara Falls location. Right there in the middle of tourism town. This is Wheelchair Rick, who we brought you last week. So this is Rick on his wheelchair, whizzing down through traffic, no signals, no cares, no worries. Thanks, Rick.
A small part of me wants to know how he. A small part of me wants to know how he wound up in a wheelchair.
How about we get Wheelchair Rick on the show? I was going to invite him, but I thought that might be a little too far out of the way. What else we got, Spencer? Oh. So this guy's wearing a cape, being a joker, and the cape gets caught in the spokes and nearly breaks his neck because it rips him right off the bike. Play one more time, Spence. I've heard tales of that with a ponytail too on a go-kart. So anybody's long hair, man, tuck them in because that gets wrapped around your axle. It's gross. Okay, what else we got? Is this what you sent in, Adam?
Nope.
This is old. This has been around for a while. This is one of the tractors that gets loose and just ghost rides for about 10 minutes until someone can figure out how to stop it. We don't know what to do. Like, imagine one of our Case IH tractors got away. What would we do? It's $1 million. You can't ram it with another tractor.
I was going to say, you're not going to do that.
You know. All right, what else we got? We down to the kid now? Zane? Silence is deafening. All right, I want to show the fuel one last. So this kid, Adam, we showed Zane. He was the kid that practiced back in his go-kart right in last week. So I found a couple more videos of this kid this week. Show this one. He's driving a full-size, like, exotic car. So Zane Sofagulo, by the looks of it. Soflugo. Soflugo. How would you say that? So drive some. What's that? McLaren, Lamborghini? Sure.
That's wild.
So Dad's obviously hoping he turns into be the next Verstappen. Okay, that's cool. We showed him on go-kart. Dad, this is, parenting right. Except for this. This thing disturbs me on the last video we caught. What's wrong with this video? I don't like it. Fueling the kid's face. So many things could go wrong there. What are you teaching them?
No,
right, Adam? Isn't that such
okay.
bad practice?
No, that's a sippy cup. That was juice.
My bad. Again, it was apple juice. It was apple juice.
Nobody would be dumb enough. Nobody would be dumb enough to pour gasoline at eye level.
Well, what are they doing there?
Yeah, no, that's awful.
Kid's holding the phone. Like, at least put his visor down, Dad. What are we doing?
Yeah, that's.
And fueling anything while you're sitting in it is a stupid play. So just when I thought you were a cool dad, you're a dumbass, a stupid rich dumbass. I know how I can say that because you're letting your 6-year-old drive your McLaren or Lamborghini. So, hey, who am I to say? I'm just jealous. I had to drive a bed frame go-kart, but Gary was still cool, so we had lots of fun. It is what it is.
That's it.
Hey, another great show. We're over time. That shows we had some good guests and a lot of good things to chat about because when we're not over time, we're trying to get off 7 minutes early because we got nothing to say.
Exactly. No, good show, kids.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you around. Just our upcoming schedule. Don't forget, Micro Sprints are live 7 o'clock here on Thursday night for Mushweek. We got 2 weeks to go of that. 7:30 live will be on G-Force with Mushweek Speedway this Friday with the Gales Clash Blast 55er to cap off the end of the program with the other 3 divisions on the card as well. Saturday, Adam will be at qualifying at CTMP. I'll be off. Adam, you doing Brighton Saturday, Sunday as well?
Yep.
Adam will be announcing Saturday at Brighton and Sunday night at Brighton. Sunday morning we'll both be at TTMP for TSN. And I'll be back at Brighton Sunday night. Other than that, we'll catch you around. Thanks everybody for coming out. See you next week.